Hey everyone. We have quite a story to dive into today, but real quick, for anyone who is curious about what ultimately happened to the GameStop manager from a couple weeks ago, we have confirmation from Pokey Rich now that he's been fired from his job. But as for our story's Karen here, she landed herself in quite a bit of hot water recently for some very nasty comments that she made to a woman in a parking lot. So picture this. 21-year-old Janet Chavez was picking up a mobile order at a South Reno McDonald's on February 14th. And as she was returning to her car, a woman that she did not know and had never interacted with previously started screaming at her from her car in the parking spot beside her and informed her, as Janet quotes her in the interview later on, "This spot is for mobile orders, you stupid bitch." Now, Janet swears she responded politely even to this provocation, telling the Reno Gazette-Journal that she said, "I'm sorry, I just picked up a mobile order." To which this delightful woman responded, "No, you're not. You're just lazy and a dumb C-word." Which is like an absolutely bonkers thing to just say to someone, especially someone that you've never met or interacted with ever before in the past, unless they've wronged you in some absolutely heinous way. But even then, it just kind of denotes a lack of decorum and self-control that is frankly completely unacceptable for someone of this age. Anyway, Janet decides that this has gone far enough off the rails already and pulls her phone out to record.
Say it again! This Karen, she thinks she's gonna cover her face. What? What were you gonna say?
You're a
What did
bitch.
you say?
Are you illegal?
I'm illegal?
Are you illegal?
That is none of your business and none of your concern.
Yeah, it is. I pay taxes.
That
for you.
doesn't mean shit. What does that have to do here? That's a mobile order and I picked up a mobile order. And what? How do you know I'm illegal? What? Okay, so then be quiet. Don't ask that question. You're very racist. That is racist. You're a Karen. You're a Karen. Don't ever do that again. I hope you get your karma.
Cheryl, I'm in number 3. Yeah, because
Shut up.
parked in the
Shut up. And you just called me an illegal. Go home. Go home. Get your f***ing license plate. Miss Girl here wants to be racist, call me illegal because what? Because I got my mobile order and I'm a bitch. What? You are a sad bitch. Miss Girl does not want to move because I want to leave. Move, you fucking idiot.
Chavez posted this to her Facebook page and revealed that she was actually on the job herself here, working for DoorDash and picking up a mobile order for a client. She says she waited for the order for about 10 minutes before heading inside to check on it, and then she gets it, and this is what she comes back to. Now, unfortunately for
Cheryl.
this employee yelling out her order name and OP snagging her license plate made this Karen incredibly easy to find, and the dreaded Karen hunter Dawnish exposed her iDiggity identity, I kid you not, within 24 hours. And lo and behold, this unhinged maniac is actually the president and CEO of a mid-sized software company. Because of course she is. Her name is Cheryl Vaughn, and she presides over a Reno-based software company called Productive Solutions, which lists itself on LinkedIn here as having between 11 and 50 employees. So this is a real sizable company of significance and import, with lots of people counting on the CEO and president to represent their company well. This company even has contracts with airports, police departments, and the government of Reno itself. The business was, of course, bombarded with terrible reviews on Yelp. Even its Better Business Bureau page wasn't spared, and Cheryl's professional profiles have gone entirely dark. Get this, even the website for Productive Solutions has gone dark. And keep in mind, this website went offline about a month and a half ago, and is still gone and offline as of today. kind of hard to sell software without a website, and when the first thing that comes up when you search the company or the CEO is this abysmal story, plus a ton of angry netizens have reached out to the city of Reno at this point to complain about this company having public contracts. So Cheryl actually managed to kind of tank her business here in a really meaningful way, and has probably created real consequences for herself, certainly, but also for her employees who counted on her to be the face of this company. And of all people, to be able to comport herself with even a modicum of decorum at freaking McDonald's. The snowball of bad publicity and the firestorm of criticism this created online reached Cheryl Vaughn herself, and she was compelled to issue 2 statements, the first to the Reno Gazette-Journal and the second to NBC News 4, both local to Reno. And I must admit, she does sort of say all the right things here and do her best to sound contrite. Some people have speculated this was written by a good lawyer, and I think certainly a possibility, but she's also like a CEO of a company. She probably knows how to write official statements like this. She says, "First, I want to apologize directly to the young woman that I confronted and spoke so rudely to last Friday. Second, I want to be clear that I take full responsibility for my behavior. No person deserves to be treated with the lack of respect that I displayed. I'm deeply embarrassed by my behavior, as I don't believe that short video clip is an accurate representation of who I am as a person or the values that I hold." She went on to say, "Third, while additional context does not excuse what I said and how I behaved, I wanted to share that from my perspective, this began as a simple disagreement over a parking space that escalated due to my lack of self-control. I had ordered food from McDonald's and parked in a space designated for curbside pickup. As I waited for my food, I was reading the news on my phone and became angry and frustrated regarding a recent news story. As someone with a short temper, I allowed my anger to get the best of me and directed that anger at a young woman as she exited the McDonald's, as I believed she had taken up a spot reserved for mobile orders. That initial verbal confrontation escalated with us arguing back and forth, with a brief moment of the encounter captured on the video that has been shared. Finally, while I fully understand the consequences of my actions, I would ask my neighbors and members of this community to find the grace in their hearts and accept my sincere apology. My family has been the subject of death threats, and my daughter, someone entirely innocent in this incident, has had her business bombarded with negative comments. I would ask the community to please leave my family be. We all have bad days. Most of them aren't captured on video and circulated on the internet. I will continue to reflect on my behavior and strive to learn from the mistakes I made." So that's not great. We shouldn't be doing any death threats, guys. That's very crazy. You're just as insane as the lady is if you're threatening her daughter. That's like a really psycho thing to do. But as far as her reasoning, I thought this was actually the most interesting part. She was reading something on the news, and because she had a short temper, whatever she was reading upset her, and she took it out on Chavez. And honestly, I was reading this, and I was like, okay, like if you were going to say, hey, I was really stressed out, my mom is in the hospital, she's got some really serious thing, and she just really needed some McNuggets, and I snapped. Still a crazy way to treat a random person, obviously, but my point is, that's like it was me on my worst day kind of excuse. But she says she flew off the rails like this and started screaming the C word in a full parking lot at a random girl over a ridiculously minor perceived slight because she read something she didn't like in the news. That's apparently all it takes for her to be in a bad enough mood to scream racist stuff at strangers in a crowded parking lot, is to read something that upset her in the news. So that stood out to me. And also, she did the bad day thing, which I would say is frowned upon here at Reckoning headquarters. Anyone in America has had bad days. We've all had bad days. Most of us are not on camera doing anything like this. So I think that's sort of a bunch of baloney. But otherwise, I'd say this was objectively pretty buttoned up. We also get an explanation for why she was so upset with Janet to begin with, what this perceived slight was that Janet was guilty of. So she thought that because Janet was exiting the McDonald's, order in hand, that she'd taken the spot reserved for these mobile orders without actually having a mobile order. And because Cheryl was ostensibly told, go to mobile order spot 3, which you can see this is, and it was taken, she drew the conclusion that it must have been some sort of heist. And okay, I guess that conclusion sort of, like that thought process sort of makes sense to me. How you'd arrive at that, right? But how does something that small make you this insane? Like, the reasoning for what set you off, reading the news, was already a little lackluster, but you jumped to conclusions here for sure, and even then, the perceived slight here was pretty minor. Also, actually, hang on. I may have just found a big hole in this. If you were upset that she had taken this spot that was supposed to be for you, it would have been upsetting because you then didn't have a place to park and you were maybe worried, concerned about not being able to get your order when it came out and be in the place that you were told to be. But you're parked here, right next to her. You can very easily see if someone comes out with your order and calls your name and just ask, like what she did in the video, right? She actually does that.
Cheryl, onion number 3, yeah, because
Shut up! Shut up!
Like, this is not an emergency. Your ability to acquire your McRib is not in danger. And you may be thinking, but what if she just pulled into that parking spot just a moment ago after circling the parking lot frantically for several minutes? Well, except that she admits here herself in her statement, oh yeah, I was reading a news story in my car while I was waiting for my food. So she had been there, parked in that spot for some time. She was bored, the phone came out, she was reading articles, and she had secured a spot that was right there. So I guess I just don't get where the outrage was, like, where was the inconvenience to her here at all? So that doesn't really make any sense. And here's the thing. After hearing Cheryl's plea for forgiveness, Janet Chavez was not impressed. Chavez expressed skepticism about the apology, stating, quote, I don't feel like it's very meaningful, you know? Everybody has a bad day, she says, you know, and everybody does. But, you know, on my bad days, I don't go and act that way. Okay, so knowing what we now know, and since it's short, let's watch this clip back one more time and see what we come away with. Do we really believe her apology? Do we believe her excuses?
Say it again! This Karen, she thinks she's gonna cover her face. What? What were you gonna say?
You're a
What'd you
bitch.
say?
Are you illegal?
I'm illegal?
Are you illegal?
That is none of your business and none of your concern.
Yeah, it is. I pay taxes.
That
for you.
doesn't mean shit. What does that have to do here? That says mobile order and I picked up a mobile order. And what? How do you know I'm illegal? What? Okay, so then be quiet. Don't ask that question. You're very racist. That is racist.
There you go.
You're a Karen. You're a Karen. Don't ever do that again. I hope you get your karma.
Cheryl, onion number 3, yeah, because
Shut up.
parked in the
Shut up. And you just called me an illegal. Go home.
license.
Go home. Get your f***ing license plate. Shh. Miss Girl here wants to be racist, call me illegal because what? Because I got my mobile order and I'm a bitch. What? You are a sad bitch. Miss Girl does not want to move because I want to leave. Move, you fucking idiot.
In the end, this really went very poorly for Cheryl, having suffered tremendous damage to her business, and I'm pretty sure she must own it or she'd be fired almost for sure by now. And after a month and a half, her Yelp page is still on lockdown and her website is still offline. One might say, she's fucked.